This is a ramble, completely unscripted, about Steins Gate. So, a little bit of background first. I am not too into anime. I actually haven't seen many of the popular ones that are out right now. And I've been more so catching up on the old classics. That's how I discovered my favorite anime, which is from Takahashi Rumiko, Maison Ikkoku. I'm really, really into those romantic comedy type shows. And my favorite genre is probably going to be Nichijou. Um, but I decided to check out Steins Gate after having finished Attack on Titan. Yes, in 2024. It takes me a while. But yeah, um, before I watch too many videos from people like analyzing it and giving their own opinions, I figured since I just watched the last episode a few minutes ago, I'd give my fresh take on the whole series. I watched all the episodes in a span of about a week. I kind of watched it like maybe 4 episodes per day. So yeah, I think that's pretty good actually. I'm not used to watching too many episodes in a row. But overall, I didn't like the anime until around season 8. I remember thinking that it was just, it brought me back to, by the way, I'm 32, but it brought me back to hanging out with like those people who were really into Japanese culture and really into anime back in college. Um, the people who would quote memes and who were really into Pokemon, who just knew random Japanese phrases for no reason. Uh, I don't know. I hung around them, but I never felt like I was part of their culture. I always felt like an outsider within a group of outsiders, which is really strange. But it brought me back to that time. Uh, I think that it hasn't aged well, obviously, based on all the references that are made. The translation certainly doesn't help. Yeah, because I can understand a little bit of Japanese, so I could catch on the references that were being made for like all your base are belong to us, um, WTF. They were a little bit like shoehorned in. Um, there were probably other Japanese cultural memes that were going on at that time that they were referencing in the original uh, dialogue, but that's something that I might never actually get to discover because that's not only left in the past, but I barely know anything about Japanese culture as it is, even though I'm living in Japan right now. But yeah, so hasn't aged too well in terms of like what they're talking about, what they're referencing. I think also the whole feeling of the anime was really really thirsty. And I'm not gonna pretend to be on a high horse here. Like I've watched Love Live, and I thought that was a quite tastefully thirsty anime. But this one wasn't very tasteful in its thirst bait. Uh, I think the only thing that I found funny was the whole like side story of the shrine maiden, who's actually a guy. I thought it was amusing that Okarin has a crush on him and just keeps reminding himself that she's a dude. Which, by the way, I'm sure that if I were part of the LGBT community, I would probably find that kind of irking, the way that that was handled, because yeah, that whole section of like, oh, I wanted to be born a girl. I feel like I would be more comfortable if I were a girl. And then everyone is like, wait, but he's a dude? Oh wow, I never expected that. They didn't handle it very, very tastefully. I don't blame them. I mean, even now, we're still very, very confused about how to handle that topic. But yeah, back then it was kind of a new thing. It was still handled kind of like, oh, this is just funny, like we just talk about this for humor's sake. What else? Yeah, I think that he like Ocarine pretty much built himself a harem, uh, and it was kind of like shy about it at first. The anime was like it was kind of not very in your face about it. It was kind of just like sprinkling bits and pieces of like, oh, there's like this one girl's a tsundere, and the other one is like super cutesy, and the other one pretends to be a cat, and everyone pines over her, but she only likes the main character. So like I could feel myself like as a guy being manipulated into thinking like, oh, I'm gonna put myself into this character because all this is every guy's dream, right? Having all these super cute girls pining over him. So I could see through that curtain pretty quickly, and it it just felt kind of condescending. Um, so that had me rolling my eyes quite a bit. But then, it was kind of like around the time when the future girl, she was very obviously hinting that she was not from that time. It was pretty obvious that she was from the future, but once it was made clear to the rest of the characters, I think that's when the story started picking up. Um, and yeah, speaking of which, I found the story to be really, really predictable, which is sad. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's like when the anime first came out, those tropes weren't tropes yet. Maybe like it was a pioneer in making those tropes, but for example, like Ocarine continuing to go back in time only for the same thing to keep happening. Uh, I kind of saw that coming. Um, him having to sacrifice everyone else's dreams and only to end up failing, um, and Mayuri still dying over and over again. I saw that coming as well. Uh, and then one of the biggest things that I was hoping it wouldn't be, but it turned out to be that Ocarine himself is the one who stabs Christina. And I was just like, man, that's so unfortunate because it's the last episode, so there's not much more redeeming to be done for this anime. Um, but yeah, it kind of like I will admit it did grip me at the end, because I think that the whole like solution of staging Christina's death was actually pretty cool. It was I didn't see that coming, and the whole thing with like the metal upa, that was a little confusing at first, but I think it was also really a really interesting twist on the story. But yeah, everything else, it was like it just had me kind of like sighing, like this just feels old. It feels trite. Uh, like I said, like I don't really watch that much anime like compared to like a fan. I do indulge in quite a bit of it, but compared to many other people that claim that they love anime, I've seen like none of it. Like so, even I was surprised that I was able to like foresee all of these, plot twists. Um, what else? So yeah, overall, I liked the ending. Um, I liked the intro. The intro was pretty cool. It was stuck in my head for times throughout the day. I would be thinking about it, and yeah, like the anime did grip me. Um, but I don't think I would have continued if it weren't as short as it is. I think that if it had been like 40 episodes, I definitely wouldn't have watched it till the end. If it had been 30 episodes, that would have been cutting it close. I think that the episode length was just right to where I felt like, okay, it's almost over. I might as well see it through the end. Because after all, it is a classic. Many people talk about it as one of the best anime. I'd been recommended to watch it like when I was talking about like I was talking to my friend about like like psychological thriller anime. I was bringing up anime like Perfect Blue, Paprika, from that creator. Also, Paranoia Agent. Uh, these were really good. I thought. I mean, I think those anime kind of transcend time in several ways. Like they're very unique. Um, they're very interesting. I thought, um, and they aged pretty well, by comparison. So, Steins Gate was brought up in that conversation of like, oh, you should check that out because it's so good. Death Note was also brought up. Death Note, by the way, I really did enjoy. I have to talk about that maybe in a separate upload. But um, I'm gonna go back to Steins Gate. I guess my final unscripted thoughts on it uh, were it's just fine. Like it was a fine anime. I'm sure that back when it was being aired um, for the first time, I'm sure it was doing things that were revolutionary. But as it is now, I find it, yeah, it was kind of a drag, and it was pretty predictable. Um, it was very thirst baity in a not fun way. It was very like I felt like it was targeted more towards like a young teen demographic. Um, like the whole love story with Christina and Ocarine, and like you have all these side characters that end up just getting tossed aside. I hate when that happens. It's just annoying. Um, yeah, I think that's all I have to say on it. But if you want to recommend me any other anime, please let me know. I'm going to watch. I think I'm gonna watch Dan next. Although I don't think that's finished yet. So, uh, maybe I'll check out. Um, maybe I'll check out Chainsaw Man. Hopefully that one's finished. But yeah, I wanna watch more contemporary anime because yeah, I want to kind of get caught up a little bit. One thing I will not watch is One Piece. I would rather read the manga, and I tried to read the manga, and it was just not really like I'm not really. I don't think I'm at that age anymore where I can read, or I can like get engrossed in a story of like, yeah, we're gonna be the best. Like it's very Ash Ketchum. Like I want to be the best Pokemon trainer. I want to be the best pirate. It's very like Saturday morning cartoonish. It just wasn't for me. Like I don't know. I want more psychological thrillers. I want more like comedy anime as well. Actually, that reminds me. I need to check out Nichijou. So, yeah, maybe Nichijou will be the next one I check out. Hmm. Okay. So yeah. Also not gonna watch Naruto. I don't like Naruto. I'm not gonna watch Kimetsu no Yaiba, uh, Demon Slayer because the characters don't appeal to me. I'm sorry if that sounds stupid, but I don't like the character designs, and I can say the same for My Hero Academia. Like I won't watch those shows because the character designs just don't appeal to me. I think they look like little like elementary school kids who are like just jumping around being badass, and I'm like that's kind of like I don't want to watch that, you know. But yeah, not to sound judgmental, but that's just my personal taste. Um, Thank you for watching.